1. References. I have been working front desk managing hotels for roughly 7 years now, in an area of the country where people like to travel for high-end leisure. I've worked at both high-end, high-rate hotels and more bargain affairs. My current place is of the latter. Funnily enough, this position pays quite a bit more, even though the rates are about 10 times less than my last job. Started off pretty great. Motivated staff, happy clients that don't blow your head off for minor room issues, better work-life balance, and the ability to more or less create my own schedule. Then the staff attrition started. First day, when I'm introduced to the staff as the new operations manager, a night auditor let me know he has to put in his 2 weeks because his wife, who is in the military, just got her orders. Then a husband just stops showing up to work. No call, no show. There is a brief period where I'm actually able to hire some new, competent people, and for about a month or so everything is relatively calm. The biggest staff attrition crap show I've ever seen in my entire career. Front desk agent leaves for school. Front desk agent, no call, no shows, telling me she's having a miscarriage. We didn't even know she was pregnant. When her return to work date comes back around, that she's set, she tells me, actually no, I'm still pregnant and will be quitting for the safety of the baby. Room attendant, no call, no shows, and we have to terminate when he doesn't respond for weeks. Later tells us he injured his shoulder and he was worried we'd let him go. Well, we did let you go, because you decided you didn't need to talk to us for 2 weeks. I go through about 7 interviews for various positions. Most, if not all, of the candidates tell me they like the idea of working here, the pay is good, more on that, and they would put in their 2 weeks at their other jobs if offered. All of them decline the offer after verbally accepting. I hire a night auditor. He recommends someone to work the front desk. She quits in less than a week. Another house person I hired leaves in about 1.5 months because she had a herniated disc and didn't realize stripping beds would aggravate it. My full-time F&B breakfast attendant, her husband has a massive stroke and needs round-the-clock care, and she has to retire to take care of him. My full-time front desk and part-time F&B attendant, her mom basically dies and is put on medical ventilation in Nepal. She needs an entire month off. All the while, I'm constantly interviewing people. And all of them basically straight up tell me that they have interviews at other hotels for $1 or $2 more per hour, and that's that. Our regional director visits. I mentioned to him that we're having a seriously difficult time acquiring new talent, because numerous other nearby properties have lower barriers of entry, better tips, and higher wages. And he hits me with this little nugget of wisdom. You know, it's all the government's fault, right? During the pandemic, they gave all that money, and now people don't want to work. First of all, the last financial assistance stimulus check went out January 31st, 2021. It's almost 2025. On top of this, all my applicants are 18 to 24-year-old dependents. Guess who was ineligible to collect any governmental assistance during the pandemic? Dependents. Not a single one of the people I have interviewed would have qualified for any financial assistance. I have a meeting with the corporate HR department that oversees and sets the pay rates for my particular hotel. And honestly, depending on how that conversation goes, I may just end the meeting with a 2-week notice. All I'm hearing from higher-ups is how we need to get our reviews up and that my staff needs more oversight. I do not have a staff. My front desk manager and myself are literally covering all the critical shifts. Neither of us have been able to work our normal manager time slots for going on 2 months now. 2. I've been working at my hotel for about 5 months now, and it pays well. My coworkers are cool, minus one, story on them another time. But these guys really know how to shake things up. I worked overnight my first few months, and finally I'm working mid-shift. I work for a popular brand name, one of their cheaper options by a major airport, so I deal with hundreds of guests on the daily. I have a lot of stories to tell, especially from my overnight shifts. But just wanted to share a couple of brief interactions from this past week, that have me questioning if these guests know how to use their brains, let alone have one. Guest A, an older lady, I'll give her that. We provide a free airport shuttle to and from the airport. It's free. There's no exact set schedule, but we tell guests approximately every 30 minutes or so. She tells me when she arrives she was waiting for a shuttle and called our hotel and no one answered. So she bought herself a $30 Uber to come over here.
So since I called and you didn't answer, will I be receiving a credit for my Uber ride?
No, ma'am, we would not be able to do that. We do provide transportation, and it's on you if you get here any other way.
Well, I called and no one answered.
Well, there is no need to call to reserve the shuttles. They do appear every 30 minutes. Sometimes there is a lag due to traffic, but we do have them.
So you can't pay for it, even though you didn't answer the phone?
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. The amount of guests we get that complain about our shuttles not coming exactly when they need it. I've even had a guest at 5 a.m. complain to me about the shuttle not being there when his flight was at 5:30 a.m., and he was going to miss his flight because of us. Like, sir, I think you're fighting the wrong battles here. Anyway, guest B, a man in his 30s or 40s, who should know how to read and book a hotel room properly. He comes to me inquiring about why our parking is $50 a night. I understand this may be high for those who haven't seen it before, but we are in a major city by a major airport and they charge simply because they can get away with it. If it was free, the lot would always be full due to the area. It is $80 at a hotel up the road. I tell him this and he says, "Well, I was going to book at another hotel with parking included, but I chose you guys because it was closer to the airport." Me, confused as to what that has to do with my specific property. Oh, okay, well, yes, ours is $50, not included. Well, I didn't see that on the reservation. He pulls up his confirmation receipt. Well, it wouldn't be on the receipt, sir. It would be in the hotel information before you book. At this point, I just pull it up on our website and show him that it does indeed say the parking price. He goes on our app, scrolls past the hotel info, and to his reservation receipt again. Nowhere does it say that. Because, sir, you are clicking your receipt. If you read the hotel info, well, it's a lot to scroll past and read. I just selected the reservation and created it. Well, it's important to read through the hotel info and policies to avoid any possible confusion when you arrive like this. He continues to scroll past the hotel information on his phone. I just don't understand. How could you guys do this to me? And then he walks off. Normally, when I pull up the website showing the guests where they are wrong, they accept the defeat. This one was different. It was somehow still our fault. I don't know. 3. When I used to work in front desk, I had a night at my first hotel worth telling you about. First hotel job, first night shift working by myself. I got a call from a guest with a view of the pool on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, hi, I'm not really sure how to tell you this, but there's someone in the jacuzzi that shouldn't be.
I'm sorry, sir, I don't understand. Are they being too nosy? The pool area is open for another 20 minutes.
I don't know how to say it, but I think there is a whale in the jacuzzi.
So I hang up and look out the back window of the office, where you could see the jacuzzi. Well, boys, when he said a whale, he meant woman, who is easily pushing 500 plus pounds and has completely displaced a huge portion of the water in the jacuzzi, so the ground is soaked. And guess what? This woman was buck naked with a bar of Dove soap in her hand taking a bath. Needless to say, we have homeless in the area by the beach, and she was high as hell on meth. As I turned the corner to the pool area, her meth head self had already spotted me coming. So she's trying to get out. But she can't. She's not strong enough to get up out of the jacuzzi. She tries to play it cool when I get to her and tell her she needs to leave. She casually, while floating like a buoy, puts up her left leg on the jacuzzi edge and puts a bar of soap in the water between her legs and starts to rub her coochie like a bitch in heat. She yells out,
"Now who wants to clean me? Now who wants to clean me?"
over and over again, and waking up all the rooms of the 4-story hotel that were facing the pool. One by one, guests out on the balcony and lights turning on. And now it's the show. So recap. Huge 500-plus pound, buck-naked, homeless, scabies-carrying, methed-out woman in the jacuzzi and stuck, unable to get out of said jacuzzi, and screaming,
"Now who wants to clean me?"
Screw this, I say, walking back to the front office to call the police. Police come with 1 cop car, 2 cops. I break the situation down for them, and they go to inspect, and of course I follow. Police ask her to leave, she refuses, and they try to cuff her and lift her out. They can't lift her out. Internally I am laughing, of course, but outwardly I am keeping it professional. The cops call another cop car with 2 big cops and an ambulance with 2 paramedics. It took 6 people, fit, healthy, good-sized people, to lift her out, by rolling her with 1 cop slipping and falling into the jacuzzi, who played it cool, landing on his feet and acting like he was just trying to help push from another angle. They roll her onto a medic gurney, and then the team of 6 held her up and the gurney and rolled that gurney to the ambulance. And the cherry on top, if you can believe this, my guests were super understanding, and I think took it pretty well. The good old days. 4. This goes back a couple of years to my front office days. We would have people check in. Part of the process was to secure payment and apply the deposit from their credit card. Either way, we would still run the card. We started getting phone calls from a guy, always the same distinct voice, asking if Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so ordered room service and if we could verify the charge amount and the last 4 digits on the credit card. We had one time that the information got verified by our restaurant, as we didn't know it was some sort of scam yet, but before we knew it, we had said guest come down to the front desk asking who we gave his credit card info to. We said we didn't, but he showed us a $750 charge on his credit card from a Home Depot in Florida. We told him to dispute the charge with his credit card company. We later found out the restaurant got a call. Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so did order room service and it was charged to their room. Then we started to get infrequent calls from the same person with the distinct voice, asking to verify a room service charge. Room service charges were never settled at time of delivery unless cash was involved. Room charges would be applied if the guest signed for the items, but nothing was technically billed until the day rolled over. So the only transaction was from our point of sale with the opening and closing of the check. And it was usually a different person doing the room service, so we couldn't pinpoint anything to one of our people. What we could never figure out is how the same person would call and ask for the verification of the room service charge right after said person ordered room service. Once we understood what was happening, we doubled our efforts to make sure that no credit card or room service info was given over the phone. I don't know if they tapped into phone lines or the point of sale, but we could never figure it out. We went so far as to have an IT person come in and check if any irregular devices were on our systems. We did have a night auditor who I never trusted and ended up getting fired not long after I came in. I couldn't prove anything with this guy, but to me, he did sound like a match to the criteria of the person's voice that we were getting the calls from. The numbers that came up on the phone were always 1-800 numbers, and after the one time, we kept getting the calls, but no information went out. Eventually, everyone knew the drill and just put that person on hold until they eventually hung up. I have no clue as to how this guy found out when guest A, B, C ordered room service, but they had a way of finding out. We thought maybe luck of the draw, with a credit card scanner at a gas station, but could never prove it. No clue as to how they got the information that room service was ordered. Anyone else ever encounter something like this? 5. This story takes place last week around 1:30 a.m. I've been the night auditor at my hotel for 4 years now, but that night, I felt like a deer in the headlights, like a trainee on his first day. It was a slow night, hotel fully packed, no more res left. I had just closed the day and was reading some manga. It was that slow. A loud sound starts blaring everywhere in the building. My heart skips a beat. Just one. No effing way. The fire alarm went full force, and the second thing in my mind is, man, I don't remember the safety procedure. I open the fire safety book like a complete idiot, flip some pages, then I stop. There was no time for that. It was now time to improvise. Step 1, dialed 911, explained the situation. Step 2, making my way to the hotel floors. Good, people are already getting out of their rooms. I tell everyone to leave outside, calmly, rinse and repeat every floor. Step 3. Except that my ADHD brain decided to say, "You should go back down and check where the fire is." Only after telling 2 floors of people out of 4 to get out. It was in the basement, so I decide to go investigate, and find my culprit very quickly, a recycling bin. About 1 meter tall in a circular shape. Imagine the big trash bins back in your high school, but blue. Step 4. Pick up the presently burning bin, hurry with it outside in the parking lot, in front of the eyes of basically every client in the hotel, slam the bin upside down on the ground to basically trap the fire in the bin. Have no fear, guests, you are no longer in danger. I have captured the fire. Now I need everyone to stay put until the fire department arrives and does its thing. Nobody goes back in for now. Some people cheer, yay! Some people applaud. Some approach me and ask questions about what just happened. Firefighters came, made sure there was no longer a fire, drained the smoke out of the building, and shut the alarm that had been ringing for an hour at the point. All was over. Now, why did the recycling bin catch blaze? Luckily for us, there was a camera right in front of the bin that witnessed the entire day. We had some workers painting our laundromat room that day, and one of them discarded a single glove covered in paint oil in the bin. Said oil dried, caught on fire, and the contents of the bin were fueling it. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw, episode 156, and thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and there are links in the description for if you'd like to find a way to support the channel. You can also become a member or leave a tip. Not required, but appreciated. Also, you'll find a link in the description to my second channel, if that is of interest to you. Okay. No other business today, so let's move along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is... Snow. When in the snowy weather, your pathway, your driveway, they get filled with snow. So are you a shovel it yourself kind of person, or do you prefer to pay someone to take care of it for you? I kind of have to just shovel it myself because, oddly, no one does it for free. So I got a big shovel with a kind of a white head on it a few years back, and it's stood me pretty well the few times I've had to use it. Let me know what you think in a comment below. And before we go, we'll take a look at the answer of the day from a previous video. I think this was about favorite comedians of the moment. And today's answer comes from Kira Nakasashi. Dara O'Brien, his delivery is excellent and his topics always speak well to me. The video games bit still makes me laugh every time. If you're talking about the virtual reality, then yeah, I can't watch that without having difficulty breathing. I laugh so hard at it. And with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.